So traditionally our growers put nitrogen on their crop using products like UAN, urea ammonium nitrate. Ammonium nitrate used to be popular. It's not as easy to get anymore. Granular ammonium sulfate. And traditionally we've either put out nitrogen in early February, late January if we need to stimulate tillers. And if we don't need to stimulate tillers, we haven't been recommending nitrogen at that time. And the main top dress time when wheat really needs nitrogen is at jointing or just before jointing, which usually is around the first 2 weeks in March somewhere. Recently there's been an introduction of a product called ESN, Environmentally Smart Nitrogen. This is a coated product, it's a granular product, and it's a controlled release nitrogen. So based on temperature and moisture, the warmer it is and the moister it is, the faster that nitrogen is released. Initially, when they started introducing that product here into North Carolina back around 2007, 2008, they asked us to look at timing on this, and Dr. Osmond, who's over here, had a graduate student who was working with this product. And if someone could just come on in here and hold this up, that'd be great. And so we had 4 tests over 2 years where we looked at different rates of spring nitrogen. We applied it either as UAN at our usual top dress time in March, or as ESN, which the company was then thinking that growers could put this controlled release nitrogen out a month earlier. So in February, when they're thinking about trying to get some weed control out there, they could get their nitrogen out early. It might stimulate tillers a little bit, and because it was controlled, it would hang out and still be there at top dress time. On average, across what we saw, if we got an average of about 84 bushels of wheat where we used our standard approach, we got a little bit less, about 80 bushels per acre with the ESN. So the company's conclusion from that work was that putting ESN completely out early, a month early, probably wasn't a good idea. Gale and Ambrose had a study then in 2010, and Ronnie Heiniger had a test in 2011. And basically this was the next approach, was to say what would happen if we put this controlled product out at our standard top dress time. The logic was interesting. It was saying, look, it would be great if we could put this out at top dress time. It would feed the wheat a little bit, and then that nitrogen would still be there over the next few weeks, so that the nitrogen wouldn't simply all be released and leached away, but it would be there longer, and maybe we'd increase our yields. The blue values here are ESN and the black is UAN. So Galen's test, he actually had 3 tests. He used 100% ESN in March to get his nitrogen, averaged about 62 bushels. He put out a blend, 75% of his nitrogen is ESN, 25% is ammonium sulfate. He got 65 bushels. UAN was about 64 bushels on average. So again, that wasn't very satisfying either to the company or to the growers. Basically, these are all statistically the same. Ron Heiniger had a similar test in 2011, ESN 50-50 blend, ESN 75-25 blend of ESN and ammonium sulfate, coming in at 62 bushels to the acre compared to UAN coming in at 62 bushels to the acre. So basically what our research had found was that jumping up, putting 100% ESN out a month earlier wasn't giving us a yield boost. Putting it out all in March wasn't giving us a yield boost. And so the company that manufactures ESN and CPS right now has gone back, and they're now suggesting, and what we're testing, is blending ESN with ammonium sulfate and putting it out in February. And the hope here now is that by doing that, the ammonium sulfate will stimulate tillering, we'll get more tillering, and the ESN will still be there in March, so that we can make one trip, get all our nitrogen out at once, and hopefully kill 2 birds with 1 stone. All right, thank you, Christina. So, Shelby, you want to come over and introduce yourself? This is the student who's doing the work, and here she is.
Hello. So my name is Shelby. I'm a graduate student with Dr. Weiss and Dr. Osmond, and I'm really doing the continuation of this, trying to narrow in on what the most efficient application blend of ESN might be. So I have some wheat trials here, and we split this in January. We have 3 applications. One is 100% ESN, one is 75% ESN and 25% ammonium sulfate, and the third is 50% ESN, 50% ammonium sulfate. So those 3 treatments were January. Then in March, we applied 50% ESN and 50% ammonium sulfate, and we're comparing that with 50% UAN, 50% ammonium sulfate. We also have one treatment that is our split treatment, which we're applying 50% ammonium sulfate in January and then 50% UAN in March. So we have this study here down the hill, and we also have it going on at Kinston. So hopefully next year we'll have some more solid data to share with y'all.
Great.
Thank you.
So what have we got right in front of us? This test from here on down is a product test that is at 4 locations in North Carolina. It is described in your handout. The page looks like this. I think it's maybe the last page or the second to last page. I'm not exactly sure. And one comment I want to make is that there will be products that you won't see here, and if you don't see a product here, it's because the parent company didn't ask for it to be here. I didn't go through and choose which products to put in or not put in. I didn't exclude anything that I was asked to put in here. So you'll see that, for example, down there's some fungicides that you'll go, gee, where's this one or that one? It's just because the company didn't request it to be put in. Right here in front of you, we have ESN and 2 treatments with ESN. We have, and so 2 of these 4 plots are ESN. The ESN is either 75% ESN and 25% ammonium sulfate, or a 50-50 blend applied early February. We have one more of these first 4 plots is our standard extension recommendation. We put out an early application because we wanted some more tillers of ammonium sulfate, and then at top dress time we finished up with ammonium sulfate. And then we have a 4th product in here, which is listed on this sheet. It's TGOQ series. This is a nitrogen additive. And they say that at top dress time, this product can be sprayed on the wheat and you can cut your nitrogen rate in half. So those plots have only half the nitrogen at top dress time. So what I'd like you to do is take a look at these first 4 plots here. Now the 2 plots over there all the way on the end don't have any nitrogen on them at all. And these 2 plots right here have little to no nitrogen. So these are borders. And these 4 plots all have the same total amount of spring nitrogen. 2 of them are ESN blends. 1 of them is a standard extension split application. And 1 of them is the TGOQ series. So what I'm going to ask you to do is tell me which one of these plots do you think looks the best. So that would be 1, 2, 3, or 4.
What's your total nitrogen rate?
They are all 120 pounds of spring nitrogen. So plot 1, 2, 3, or 4. Take a look at height, density, and uniformity. Just these first 4. We're going to look at the next 4 back in just a second, see whether we're consistent in our selection. Which plot looks the best? We ready to vote on 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Yeah.
Looks like there are a few people still looking. All right, who liked number 1? Lots of hands. Number 2, no hands. Number 3, number 4. Okay, so let's remember that. You liked number 1 and the runner-up was number 4. You can stay there or you can step back Let's take a look here at this next range. Same 4 treatments, different order. Plot 1, 2, 3, 4. Who's going to get number 1 and who's going to get number 2? And the winner will get a free Chevy Colorado truck, washing machine, and trip to Hawaii for 2. Who say number 1? No hands. Who say number 2? No hands. Who say number 3? The hands are going up. Who say number 4? Okay, so number 3 got the most and number 4 got some. Let's pull the sheets off and see what we got. So if you just rip off the paper towels. What is this treatment? Best management practice. So this was a split application, standard nitrogen, and what's that one there? Yeah, 70, so that would be a 75-25 split in January. So both of these got some early nitrogen, both of them, and then this one got a regular UAN later, and that one didn't get any. So that was 1 trip, this was 2 trips. That was a little more expensive, but gives you an idea of similarity. And let's go back and look at these 4 and see how these ranked out. So if you folks would pull off the paper, let's see what y'all like. Number 1, I think, if I remember right. Yes. What is number 1?
Extension BMP.
All right, so there's a standard grower practice with an early split. And did you say number 4? What's number 4? So that's a 50-50 blend of ESN. So what we're seeing here at this location is that we've obviously needed some early nitrogen pretty quickly, and we obviously needed a good hit of nitrogen at top dress time, and so the standard practice is standing out. But the ESN treatments, some of these early ESN treatments are a close runner-up. I will say that up the hill we have another test that Shelby's put in. The results look a little different, and I will tell you in Kinston the results look different. So I think what we're seeing is that the results may be very different at different locations and different wheat densities, but right here this is pretty clear, and we'll have these results out when Shelby gets all the data in, and these results will be in the publication for the field days. There's similar treatments up there. She's got more detailed scientific treatments up there than our little quick and dirty test here. Let's go down here to the next few plots. These are various types